This is breaking news from the Las Vegas Review-Journal, sponsored by Michael Gaughan's South Point Hotel, Casino, and Spa.
Update on Michael Mayer, how he's doing?
He's still in the protocol. He's got, the procedure that he has to go through. It'll take us all the way to the end of the week to know.
Pete, any thoughts on the matchup with Caleb Williams this week? Was he a guy you watched a lot at USC when you had time?
Sure. No, yeah, I did watch him a lot, and watched him a lot looking at that job too, and had a chance to check him out. And he's a very, very special athlete, and he's got great sense, great awareness about throwing the football and running the football. He'll be a prolific scrambler, and by the time we check out his years, he's really good at it and throws really well on the run too. So they have a really nice system. You can see it already coming through. Coach Ben's doing a nice job with teaching these guys, what he believes is important on offense. You can see that there's a lot of changes from when they were last year. So Caleb can do whatever you want him to do. So he's a very dangerous player to play against.
You've got an emerging young receiver too, and Rome Odunze. What challenges is he going to possess for you guys?
Yeah, he's a good player. Now, we watched him in college too. So I've seen him a lot. They're going to him. He's the leading target guy, and they'll continue to do that, I would think. He can do a little bit of everything. He's really fast. He's good size. He's tough. He's making the plays. So, we know where he is. We have to be really conscious that we can take care of him.
What says that about the way Ben Johnson was about creating space for those guys? There's a lot of it in the game against Dallas.
They had a very good game last week. They really did. They looked terrific in the game. Got ahead, jumped out early, and maintained that lead. Ben setting the tone for the concepts that people are doing, or maybe he's learning from everybody else. But there's a lot of similarities in the style of offense that are coming around now, and it's a prolific attack when you're really trying to get the ball down the field as much as teams are doing right now, and he's right in the middle of all that.
Back to the offensive line, do you feel it's more reps and continuity as opposed to maybe identifying an issue here, an issue there that you can put your finger on?
Yes. Yes. Sorry.
We saw Darian take over for Caillou down the stretch in the last game. I guess how did you see him on film? What did he do? And is that a switch that you're looking to make going forward?
He did fine. He had a couple of good tackles that he made. He situated himself well in all of his looks and coverages. He's made a couple tackles on special teams too, so that was one of the things we wanted to see what he would look like. So he did a nice job, and so I'm not hesitant to play him at all.
Just what have been your impression of Eric Stokes through 3 games?
Shoot, I think he's played great football. I think he's been our top guy out there. He's challenged everything when he had his opportunities, and he's got his wins. He's been really clean with his hands. There's nothing that he can't do. I think he can really blossom into a terrific football player for us, and we're lucky we got him.
Also, too,
Ashton Jeanty's been hit at or behind the line of scrimmage on more than 50% of his carries this season. When you look at film, what has led to that? Is that more offensive line?
Yeah, we have to get him better spacing, and we got to get him away from all those guys in the middle. So it's the whole attack. We've just got to continue to expand it. And keep him from getting hit, because he's the first one to look for hits too. He wants to hit the first thing that moves. He's tougher as hell, but we got to get him cleaner. So we're all working together to get that done.
Talk about this quite a bit after the game on Sunday. I guess what kind of things can you do to challenge a group that's been very good here for you guys in the past?
Yeah, that was a really surprising ball game. Because we've been solid for all the way through Tom's years and all of that. That was a game that those 2 carries just got away from us and made a huge difference in the game. One was a 90 and the other was an 80-yarder or something like that. I mean, you never plan on having to deal with that factor unless it's on our side. So everybody's working really hard. They're taking into account the things that they have to do and do better. We have to play better as a whole group. A couple guys got out of lanes on coverage and it really exploded. And our safety guys couldn't get them on the ground. I'm going to do this again because I love the way this guy coaches, but I'm giving Larry Izzo a lot of credit. He put together a great game plan, and his guys executed really well. And obviously, they really had their way with us.
I think the key is to get
A Tyree Wilson and a Malcolm Kuntz kind of unlocked.
moving forward.
And how important is it?
Well, it's really important that our guys play better, and so we're trying with our combinations and mixing our looks and all of that. Malcolm has been pretty lively in his pass rush with a result last week and 2 weeks ago, and we'll get him back into it. We're continuing to move the rotations. It's still a work in progress, and that we're learning who's who and what they can do best. And that may last a couple more weeks of us trying to figure that out. We need to get to it. I mean, I would love to have it nailed right now, but with the background that we've had, and this is still in progress. But the part I like about it is these guys are competing really hard for their play time and their spots, and as long as they maintain that kind of approach, then they'll keep elevating their game, and it'll be obvious what we should do. I'm sure this is going to be a real zinger right here.
There's only won 2 home games last year. It's only the 5th year that the Raiders are playing at Allegiant Stadium in front of fans. What's the mentality like of the team just trying to create this home field advantage?
Well, we're trying to create the advantage wherever we go, wherever we play, but we certainly could utilize, winning here and getting our fans really jacked and allow them to be a factor. The noise factor is always something that you can count on when you get it going. So we have to play well. Obviously in the past they haven't. They haven't played well enough to get their wins, but we can't let that be. That was then, and this is now. We got to crank it up and see if we can get one this weekend and keep building from there. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you, Pete.
Step up at different times. How valuable is that having more than just 1 or 2 guys to go to?
Yeah, it's very valuable. I think we have a bunch of options and a bunch of guys that can get open and make plays. The key for us is to always get the ball into the hands of the right guy, depending on what the defense shows us. So I'm very impressed with just how our guys are responding and making plays out there.
Looked like you guys had a big effort in training camp to get the ball to Trey Tucker, and obviously we saw the results on Sunday. How do you feel about that relationship continuing to grow?
Yeah, I think our relationship is growing. As I've said all along, I really think highly of Trey. I think he can do a lot of great things. Obviously, we're all about winning here, and so statistics and all that, like, it's an afterthought. But I thought he had a really good game. I thought he played tough throughout the game, and really gave us a shot to move the chains and get some points. But like I said, man, we got to do a better job all around.
Said after the game he's somewhat frustrated with his body and everything that's happening. When you're an athlete at your level, like, how difficult is it when your body doesn't react to how it usually does, and can you see that from him, a little frustration? How difficult is that as an athlete?
I haven't seen any frustration from him. I think if he does have frustration, I think it's internal, and he's done a good job of keeping it internal. Obviously, he's toughing through some things, and he's playing really well, I think. He's still moving the same as from what I can see, and really we just got to get him the ball. We got to find ways to get him the ball and get him more involved so he can really feel good about what he's doing. He's playing the same as I've seen. I haven't talked to him about any of that, so I haven't heard any of that. But I think, like I said, I think very highly of Brock. I think he's best tight end in the league, and it's my job to get him the ball and make sure that he is on point.
Is it difficult when you're an athlete at your level when your body doesn't respond because you want to do something so badly?
Anytime you're not performing to your maximum capabilities, I think you're going to always try to find it. You're going to try to find that and try to seek it. But to me, like I said, from what I've seen, I think he's doing a great job, and I think we just all have to do a better job of keeping him involved, getting him involved, and then obviously doing a better job as a whole.
Geno, what have you thought of Ashton Jeanty's learning curve in the NFL and how he's progressing through that?
I think he's right where he needs to be, man. I think we have to help him. It's my job to help him. I hate that, obviously, he's going to put a lot of pressure on himself, but he's not out there alone. It's 10 other guys out there that got to do their jobs and help him. And so, I take great responsibility in making sure that Ashton is, first of all, in the right headspace, which he is. And also, he's got the ability to go out there and make plays. And so I got to make checks, put him in position to go out there and make plays. I got to do a better job to make sure that, he's out there showing us what he can do, because when he gets in the open field, man, he's hard to stop. So we just got to get him into some more space and allow him to do his thing.
As a leader of the team, how do you make sure that all the guys in the locker room don't get frustrated by a loss like you saw on Sunday, and stay in the right headspace and go forward?
Yeah, I think we have great leadership in this locker room. I think we have a great coaching staff and a bunch of guys that are really just focused on getting better every single day. And I think if you take that your approach to it, if you just focus on getting better, you block out the outside noise. You don't think about expectations because that could be to your detriment. You have a shot to do some great things. I think for everyone in this locker room, we're just focusing on this next game and how can we get better today in practice first of all, and then go into the next game with the right mindset, execute our game plan the way that we know how, and get this thing done.
Geno, what are you seeing on camera from the Bears?
Yeah, really stout defense, man. Really tough up front. 6'5" guys across the board on the D-line. Mike linebacker with Tremaine Edmonds, who I think is a great player. I think he's one of the best middle linebackers in the game. They got great corners, safeties. Kevin Byard, a guy who's been perennial All-Pro, has made a lot of plays in his career, and they're extremely smart. They play hard. NFL defense. Another chance for us to go out there and prove ourselves. Thank you, guys.
Thanks, Geno.
You've been watching breaking news from the Las Vegas Review-Journal, sponsored by Michael Gaughan's South Point Hotel, Casino, and Spa.